All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our broadcast this afternoon. We appreciate you taking the time to do it. We know as busy procurement professionals, your time is very valuable, and thank you for sharing it with us. I hope everybody's grabbed a sandwich or a bite to eat and is ready to sit back and listen to the presentation and then ask some great questions at the end. My name is James Alexander. I'm Senior Vice President at Infotech Research Group. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to today's session called Transforming Procurement into a Strategic and Transparent Operation. We're here today for a common purpose, to enhance procurement and purchasing and revitalize this critical yet often underserved and overlooked function. It's interesting, in our audience today we have a wide variety of roles. We have directors of purchasing, strategic sourcing managers, inventory and purchasing coordinators, buyers, marketers, IT managers, supply chain managers. As you can see, a very wide range of roles and responsibilities. And I think this is because procurement is an issue that lives not simply within a single department or with a single group of professionals. Procurement impacts and enables the entire organization, and it takes people across that organization to galvanize change. So I think our session today will be informative for everyone, and by the way, we have a good cross-section of industries represented in the audience as well. We have folks from the services industry, folks from healthcare, education, retail, manufacturing, and construction. As well, we have people from right across Canada. Joining me today are two professionals with significant knowledge and experience in the procurement space. Margaret Bodden, Director, Supply Chain Transformation at the Ontario Ministry of Finance, and Emily Rakowski, the Global Head of Procurement Solution Marketing at SAP. This webinar event is part of an outreach program we call Shifting Values, and it's a joint effort by Infotech, SAP, and a host of volunteer industry experts like Margaret to educate Canadians on trends and developments related to how technology impacts the way we, as Canadians, live and work today and into the future. Shifting Values began as a research study we conducted across Canada, and I'm going to begin today's session by taking you through some of the findings from procurement folks. Then Margaret will share some of the fascinating advances in procurement taking place in the public sector. And Emily will share her insights developed from helping Canadian businesses evolve to meet the challenges of modern procurement. Most of all, though, we want this webinar to be useful to you. So send in your questions as we go through, and at the end, I'll be hosting a panel to give you the answers you need. I'm going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves now. So Margaret, welcome. Please tell us about yourself and your background in procurement.
Oh, okay. Thanks, James. Margaret Bodden, and I'm the Director of Supply Chain Transformation at the Ontario Ministry of Finance, and I've been here for 3 years. Prior to that, I began my career working in consumer goods. I actually worked at the plant level, and then I moved on to procurement, where I was involved in the procurement of the direct goods that go into the manufacturing process. And subsequent to that, I became a consultant, and I worked in North and South America and Europe, providing supply chain strategic advice to clients in a variety of industries.
Great. Well, we look forward to you sharing your thoughts with us. Emily, let's hear a bit about you.
Thanks so much, James. This is Emily Rakowski. I head up the Procurement Solution Marketing team here at SAP. So I represent the portfolio of our procurement solutions globally. I've been in the sort of technology enablement of sourcing and procurement for about the last 12 years. So I'm very familiar with all of the available sort of technologies to support those processes. And then before that, I actually was also a consultant like Margaret, consulting on the strategic sourcing process with a management consulting firm.
Great. Thanks so much. So let me kick it off by talking a bit about some of the things that we see happening in the workplace generally, and then the impact of that on procurement. So I want to start broadly in terms of how the demographic composition of the workforce is changing in Canada and the implications of that in terms of the way we work and live. And it's no surprise to anyone, 3 generations of workers have converged in the workplace. Boomers represent about 1/4 of the workforce in Canada, Gen X about half, and that final quarter is made up of what we call Gen Y or millennials. Now, the 3 generations' perspectives and values are impacted not just by when they were born, but by what positions they hold in the business and where they are in terms of their personal and family lives. But in general, when we ask them to identify some of the things they value and some of the ways they use technology, there are both similarities and differences in the way they view things. So in terms of similarities, they value ethical leadership in the workplace. They value a collaborative spirit that's well-enabled. And they want to make a real contribution to the business in an environment that incorporates the opportunity to learn and the opportunity to advance in their careers. That's across all 3 groups. When it comes to the use of technology, though, there are significant differences in terms of how they incorporate it into their lives, both at work and at home. And this really leads to what we've come to know as the shifting role of technology as a tool. And I think there's some trends that are going on that kind of are driving that shifting role. So first off, I would point at mobility and social media in particular, because these are trends that are driving technology to be a more fundamental enabler of both collaboration as well as informed decision making. And the lines are blurring between our professional and personal lives. In fact, for many, work is not a place I go. It's an activity I do, anywhere, anytime, and on any device. Employees today don't want to come to work and use tools and technology that's inferior to what they use at home. And this is leading to what we call the consumerization of IT. Another fact is that as a nation, our productivity struggles are well documented. Canada is at a critical turning point, but Canadian organizations are lagging behind others in adopting new technology and in changing the underlying business processes to enable them to make the quantum gains in efficiency and productivity that we so badly need. So I guess the long and short of it is that in order to attract and retain the best employees and in order to engage and retain customers, Canadian firms need to up their game in terms of their use of technology across all aspects of the business. And procurement professionals, when asked, clearly identify the need to deploy better tools and processes, and they see technology as key to driving this. Let's look at some of the things we asked and how they responded. So the first thing we wanted to find out was the extent to which the decisions procurement professionals make are based upon various sources of input to help us identify where is the bottleneck today. The key finding, management and customers affect your decision making the most, whereas technology and supply chain partners are the least involved. Clearly then, I think we'd all acknowledge it's important to be responsive to customers and adhere to management guidelines. But there's a missed opportunity here to use technology to make better and more informed decisions. With the amount of data points we have at our disposal today, technology should be a key driver in terms of making better and faster decisions. There's more to this story, though. Of all the procurement professionals we spoke to, more than 1/3 of you said you still find it challenging to get real-time updates to supply chain information. The next thing we asked was, where can investing in technology improve your work environment? And what's interesting about the answer to this question is that historically, organizations invested in technology to improve the individual productivity of a single employee. But clearly, you and your peers strongly believe that the technology available today can help you increase your level of satisfaction amongst your customers and grow efficiency, not just for the individual, but across the organization. And I think this is echoed today by the wide mix of roles present in our audience. Again, there's a shared belief that investing in procurement helps the organization perform better overall. So our recommendation is that you should build a business case around, not just around employee productivity, but around these 4 pillars: employee productivity, partner satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and organizational efficiency. This will resonate with executive management. On the right, we asked about adoption. We asked survey respondents how they were using available tools. Fully 74% of you use technology to react faster to the needs of your internal customers, and that's a good thing. Almost over 2/3 use electronic document management and workflow solutions. But less than 1/3 of professionals have adopted automated demand management and forecasting solutions. Clearly then, while we see the benefits beyond simple productivity, we're not using technology today for anything else, and there is an opportunity to do so, to improve the business. Finally, we asked which of these tools do you not use but would like to implement. So we call this the procurement technology wish list. And not surprisingly, automated demand management and forecasting, which is only being used by less than 1/3 of folks, leads the way in terms of need. So overall, in terms of the pain points we found that Canadian procurement professionals have today, I think 3 of them are generally would be well acknowledged, not just within procurement, but across the organization. So the need to improve customer satisfaction, the need to have greater access to real-time business information, and the constant pressure procurement is on to reduce costs in terms of the procurement, not just the procurement process, but reduce the cost of everything in the organization. But we heard you loud and clear on another front, and that is that procurement professionals often feel like the forgotten department. In an increasingly connected, data and speed-driven world, you want access to real-time information and insight to meet and increase customer demand and satisfaction. And of course, there's the constant pressure to push down costs. So let me just turn to the panel now. Margaret, as a well-experienced master of procurement, are these the same pains experienced in public sector procurement? Would you add anything to this list?
Yeah, definitely. Public sector procurement feels everything that you feel in the private sector and then some. They wrestle with the need to deliver cost savings, but they're also working in really structured environments where compliance to the procurement directive, which I'm going to talk about, and other regulations drives a lot of their planning and their operations. And they're dealing in very complex environments quite often. A hospital is a very, very complex environment, and making any efforts that they can undertake to reduce complexity make a huge difference.
Okay, great. Emily, what's your point of view? Have you seen customers using technology to alleviate these pain points?
Yes, absolutely. So all of the pain points you mentioned are absolutely relevant. We see our customers using new technologies like real-time spend analysis and things like that to get what they need in terms of real-time business information to make strategic decisions, whether it's regarding sourcing or managing a supplier, et cetera. So definitely technology can help with these pain points. But the other interesting thing is that the pain points seem to be growing as the mandate for procurement gets broader and broader, because we're seeing so many of our procurement customers now also being tasked with, for example, supplier risk management initiatives, corporate social responsibility and sustainability initiatives. So they're getting more and more on their plate without really any additional resources. So of course technology is critical for them to be able to handle all of these tasks simultaneously.
Yeah, good points all, and I think we'd all agree that issues like transparency and the need to be a good corporate citizen are becoming more and more important in our society. So I'm going to turn it over to Margaret for her presentation. Just before I go, just to remind everyone that you can use the questions chat box to ask us a question that we'll deal with at the end, or to send a note to to the staff if you're having any problems hearing or seeing. So just a reminder that that's there. And now, Margaret, take it away.